then we have this thing they call the duck walk. So the duck walk is really awkward position. Cause everything Guys, today I will be talking about my Meps experience. I will be enlisting in the U.S. Army, and I do have a story time about how I switched from Air Force to Army. But I will be enlisting in the U.S. Army, and I recently did go through Meps, and Meps does stand for Military Entrance Processing Station. I went to the one here in Miami, like in Doral. Anyways, so basically, before you get to Meps, the first thing you're going to do is obviously have a recruiter, whether that be Navy, Marines, Air Force, Army, whatever branch of the military you decide to join. You will have to set this up with your recruiter, and therefore after they do give you a date, or you tell them what days you are available to go to Meps, they will schedule you a date to go. Now, when going to Meps, it's always good to have the day prior kind of free, I would say, because basically what they do is, so you get scheduled for your date to go to Meps, and then they will have you go through go to a hotel the night before. And so it's like a regular hotel. It's really nice. I'll probably insert some clips because I did get clips of what the hotel room looked like. It was super comfortable. Super comfortable. But you will stay in a hotel the night before. You will have a roommate in your hotel room. And basically, they have it's like really normal. It's nothing extreme. They have like a little area for everybody that is enlisting in the military. You do have like a little conference that same night where they tell you the rules, regulations, and what to expect the next day at Meps. So basically they give you like a schedule and rundown of what's gonna happen that night we get to the hotel. I remember for me, we did have to wake up, or me personally, I woke up around, I want to say 3:30 in the morning. I did shower, got dressed. Then after that, your roommate has to get ready, so you guys kind of have to coordinate the time. I know for females it takes a lot longer for us to get ready than males. Me and my roommate did kind of like discuss it. Okay, whatever, so this is the plan for tomorrow. Anyways, got up, showered, got dressed. Then you have to wait for your roommate to be done getting ready before you guys can both go downstairs. The hotel does call your room around 4 o'clock in the morning to wake you up. It's just a wake up call. And then they call again at 4:15, and then by 4:30 to 5 o'clock, everybody has to be downstairs. By that time, they do give you like a little briefing of what to expect, what's going on, how much time you have to eat breakfast. And then after that, everybody's on their way. So after that, they put us on a bus, and from the hotel, we do go to the Meps station in Doral. So basically, everybody is standing outside in a line, and we have a sergeant out there kind of like directing us where to go. And sometimes your recruiter, in some cases, people that don't decide to stay at the hotel, the recruiter will take you that same morning to the Meps station. Excuse me. So you do have the option of staying home or having a recruiter take you, but I decided to go ahead and stay in the hotel since I had never experienced it. Why not go ahead and do that? You have a sergeant standing outside, and it's people that's obviously been there more than once, whether it be for medical waivers or for any type of reason, whether they need documents, if you're married, It's like a whole bunch of different occasions as to why people need to go back to Meps more than one time. So after they separate you from whether this is your first time or you're going to drop off documents, whatever the case is, then your sergeant begins to talk to you, or a sergeant begins to talk to all of us really about the rules and regulations. You will be talked to many times. Well, the first priority is shippers, the people that are shipping out that day to basic training for every branch. So those are the first people that are in the building, and then after that, everybody else goes in. So yeah. So for me, I ended up having to do Meps 2 days in a row because the first day I went, it was like a whole complication with computers and like getting our files put in and all that type of stuff. We go into the building, they have you go through like a metal detector. They have all your paperwork and things to go through. When going to Meps, if you do stay the night before at a hotel, don't have razors and like guns or like cigarettes, tobacco, all that type of stuff. They do take from you when you get to the Mep station. So it wouldn't make sense to even have it with you when you do go to Meps. I feel that it makes sense to do all your shaving or whatever it is you have to do prior to even going to Meps. Keep everything at home because you won't need it and they will take it away. So they have us go through the metal detector. They do have your things go through like a little scanning thing, kind of how like when you go to the airport, your bags and stuff have to be scanned through the detector to make sure there's nothing in there. After that, you will go down like a hallway. You'll lock your stuff up in like a locker or a room. But it is very important to make sure that you don't take like loads of money with you because, I mean, the room does get locked, but who's to say somebody won't go through your things? And you always should keep your paperwork, your social, your birth certificate, all that stuff should always be on hand with you when you go to Meps. You should never leave that behind. So drop your stuff off to the locker. Then after that, they have us go to whatever branch we are enlisting in, whether it be Marines, Navy, Air Force, whether you're doing a National Guard, Army, whatever it is, and they break you up into those stations, and you will go to, like, they call it the liaison's office, and that's where your branch in the military will be, and that's where they'll do your paperwork, that's where you get your job. That's where you will be in this office a lot. You go to the liaison's office. Mine is Army. They ask for your ID or your social, and then they'll give you like a name badge. So on this name badge, it will say whether you need to go through a hearing, you need to do the drug test, you need to do the orthodontist. What I meant to say was ortho. It just says everything that you need to do. Okay, so they'll have you go down a hallway with your name tag in a folder that has all your documents in it, your medical paperwork, your social, like all of your information, your ASVAB scores, all of that. You'll go down a hallway, they'll send you up to medical. Now when you get to medical, when I went, because they changed it around a little bit, but the first time that I went through medical, basically they have you go through like, they check you in, because every time you go and enter into a certain section or a department or whatever the case is, you'll be checked in and checked out every time. So they have your location at all times in the Meps building because it is a lot that goes on. So anyways, they send you up to medical, you get checked in, and they put you in a briefing room. Now, one thing about Meps is you will be waiting and waiting and sitting and waiting a lot. I mean, in the beginning, when the process started going, it does pick up, but since there is so many people that do go through Meps at one time, it can be really slow and boring. I'm not even gonna lie to you. We're sitting in a room, and then a doctor will come in, or whoever the medics are on that floor, they would come in, they would brief us on how to fill out certain paperwork, whether or not we have tattoos, piercings, whether we're allergic to anything, whether we are, I don't know, whether we have a criminal record, tickets, all those type of things. Now these things, you will go over these things prior to Meps with your recruiter, so it is very crucial and important that when you tell your recruiters all these tickets, tattoos, piercings, scars, whatever the case is, to go over that with your recruiter, because they will find out at Meps. So if you do lie to your recruiter and then go to Meps and you tell them something different, that makes your process extremely long, and either you're going to have to get waivers, which most of the time they don't get approved, or you'll be sitting waiting around a whole year before you even enlist because you told your recruiter one thing and then went to Meps and said another. So it's very crucial to keep your paperwork and your information, matching and the same. They go through tattoos, piercings, whether you have a criminal record, traffic tickets, violations, whatever it may be. After that, then they start taking you out. They take you out one by one, whoever's finished or in rows. They take you out and they'll have you wait in an area to see a doctor. So when you go, they don't necessarily have like an order when it comes to this, because everybody has to visit the station and it's known whether or not and what you do. Whatever you go through in Meps, because it's like a lot of different things examinations that you have to go through, they're on your little name badge. It will have like certain abbreviations that they will color in every time you get it done. And so yeah, that's how they know you've done what you're supposed to do. So basically, first thing I went through, I believe, was hearing. They put you in like a booth with like 4 or 5 other people. You each have headphones. You're all separated. Nobody can see anything. We can't hear each other, and it's important to be very quiet. They'll do the hearing test, make sure we can hear the little noises or whatever that's going in through our headphones. Then we'll do the eye test, which is just like any other eye test. If you've ever been to your doctor, they say read the last row, the bottom row, the top row, whatever. You'll get scored on that by a doctor. Then you go through this thing they call orthodontic, I believe it was. Ortho. And this is where people do talk about the duck walk and being naked in front of a whole bunch of other people. Trust me, it's not even that bad. This was probably like the easiest thing that we've done, to be honest, while we were even doing all the medical stuff. And I would say not to go to Meps with inappropriate clothes or undergarments, because they will give you a pair of undergarments. For boys, they will give y'all underwears that somebody else has worn and they washed. And then for the ladies, they will give you grading paintings, or they'll tell you simply that you cannot do Meps today and that you will have to do it another day and come back and do the process over again, which is really annoying. So they make sure to have full bottom underwears, so like no thongs, no latex, no lace, no spandex material. Your paintings have to be cotton, and you also have to have on a whole bra. You can't have sports bras on, anything like that, because when you go see the doctor and when we're doing this whole orthodontic thing, they do check your spine. So your spine has to be visible, obviously, so not to wear sports bras and all that type of stuff. So anyways, we go into this room with about 20 different females. They have us undressed down to our panties and bra. And they will have you do like little funny thing, like movements, the squats, and like, I don't know, bend over, touch your toes, bend your tippy toes, like touch your elbow. Or it's just like little things to make sure that our wrists and our joints and everything is good, and we're not pigeon-toed or nothing's broken, that we can move. Then we have this thing they call the duck walk. The duck walk is a really awkward position. So you're kind of like walking on your tippy toes in a squat position, and you have to walk across the room and come back. Males and females both have to do the same thing, whatever. The duck walk is really not that hard, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just, it's really simple. Like, you feel me? Like, females are not going to be looking on your stuff. At least I don't think so. So anyways, you do the duck walk, and it's really not that bad. After that, they'll take you one by one to go see a doctor individually. So now when you go see this doctor individually, he will have you take your bra off. He will check your breasts for any masses or whatever the case is. And then he will also teach you how to check your breasts for masses yourself to make sure that you don't have anything wrong. And if you do feel it, to go check up. Then he will check down there to make sure you don't have no little funny business going on. No, something that you need to take care of before you ship off. Do the duck walk and all of that. They'll send you back out. You'll be fully dressed at this point, shoes, socks, and all of that. Oh, it's important. You cannot wear sandals to Meps. You cannot wear open-toe shoes. You have to wear sneakers to Meps. You can't have holes in your pants, tank tops, none of that stuff. all of this, the dress code will be addressed by your recruiter prior to going to Meps anyways, but this is just a heads up. So then after all of that, you go back to, you see like another doctor. It's a couple of things that you do in medic. Then he will check your throat, your tongue, your ears, like we get a regular checkup from any other doctor. They will also need to check your scalp. So ladies, if you do have a wig on, or ladies frontal or something like that, it is important that they will be able to check your scalp and see like about an area this big. Because if not, they will like tell you that you have to come back another day until your frontal, your wig, or whatever is removed. Because they did it to me. It's absolutely annoying to have to sit through that whole process again to get one thing done. So if you have box braids or whatever, that should be fine. But your scalp has to be visible when you're doing this. They do a drug test where you have to pee in a cup.
I did forget to mention that they do a pregnancy test along with drawing your blood.
After you finish with medics, they will send you back downstairs, and this is where the waiting game begins. You will finish your medical portion. They send you back downstairs, and you sit there and you wait until you are called on by your liaison. This has to be the most, like, this part is super boring. When I went, I sat and watched like 4 or 5 movies before I was even seen. I wouldn't necessarily say to be in their face, because not everybody is the same way. But because my recruiter did show up, I would show up with my recruiter in the liaison's office, making sure the first sergeant and the sergeants saw my face, knew who I was, like, hey, I'm trying to get this going, or whatever the case is. Once they do send you, they will send you to do phase 1. Phase 1 is where they have you go, and you will talk to somebody that will basically do like they're not necessarily like a whole background investigation, but they will like search up to make sure you don't have no tickets or warrants or anything like that out for your arrest. They will go over a whole bunch of documents. They will ask you, for instance, if an emergency was to happen, who to go into contact, stuff like that. It's pretty, I mean, they'll just ask you a whole bunch of questions. You go through it, yes, no, yes, no. These same questions will be asked by your recruiter, so it is important that what you tell your recruiter, you go back and tell Meps the same thing. Because like I said before, if you lie to one person and then come to Meps and say something different, it will alter your ship date. Maybe they won't even ship you off. They could even disqualify you. It's like, they say it's like a whole felony, and you get fined or whatever if you lie on your documents or paperwork, and you will hit this multiple times while processing. But it is important. Do not tell your recruiter one thing and then go back to Meps and say something different. Phase 1, you'll go back to your liaison's office, like, hey, I did phase 1, I'm cool. They'll send you to do phase 2. Phase 2, phase 2 is where they do the fingerprinting. They ask you what job you're doing, and they'll pull up your contract to see what jobs are available to you based on your ASVAB scores. And that's pretty much all phase 2 is. With my recruiter, since my ASVAB scores were pretty high, I was able to actually pick a job prior to going to Meps. Or what he did was basically save the job for me, so that when it pulled up my information at the Meps station, that job was already locked in and all I had to do was sign my contract. Other individuals, however, when they did get to Meps, they had really no idea what job they wanted to do there, or maybe their recruiters did not go that far to reserve a job for them. So when they do get to Meps, the people that's in the Army Liaison's office will ask you, like, hey, what job do you want to do, what are you interested in?
So unfortunately, everything after this got deleted, so this video will be cut a little short. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to hit me up, and I'll be sure to answer them for you.